Fear is one of the fundamental human emotions that has evolved to protect us from danger. You all know this. But what happens when fear stops protecting us and starts imprisoning us? To understand this, we need to talk about our brains. This is the amygdala, also known as the central processor for fear. So, when a threat is recognized, the amygdala releases hormones like epinephrine and cortisol that leads to something we now commonly call as fight or flight response. These things, this response increases your heart rate, makes you breathe quicker, and allows you to react to dangerous situations faster. And it was extremely helpful for our ancestors thousands of years ago when they were hunted and being hunted. So, but what happens when we look at this from a modern perspective? Because we no longer live in the wild. Today, we live in a concrete jungle. So, today's fears are no longer about dangerous caves or wild animals, but seemingly small mistakes that can spiral into big problems, something that we've never considered before. Take, for example, the threats of today. For example, you missed a deadline, or accidentally told a lie, or received a message from a friend that says, "We need to talk," full stop. This can create a fight or flight response within your mind. You'd be asking yourself, did I forget to reply to a message? Did I say something wrong? Did I ruin our friendship? Your brain takes one seemingly small thing and escalates and spirals it inside of you to create a negative loop. You've taken something from as simple as "we need to talk" to "I'm a failure. I've let everyone down, and no one will ever respect me again." But this isn't true. These are the kinds of emotional states that fear can put you in. And it's important that we recognize this. And also understand how fear makes us focus not on the event any longer, but the story we tell ourselves. So let me tell you about my story. Some of you might recognize me from the Model United Nations circuit. And essentially, it's a competition about diplomacy. It's where you negotiate, debate with other people, and combine solutions within a given document about a specific issue. I was confident at this until I made a mistake. We were working for hours and hours nonstop. And the submission was coming closer. Once we finally submitted, I felt a sense of relief. The dangerous situation is over. It's gone. I'm finally safe. Until the chairs announced something that made my heart drop. Out of the 2 documents that was submitted by 2 teams, only 1 document was recognized. So, and the worst part about it, this document did not belong to my team. We have spent hours and hours of putting our efforts into this document, and it was for nothing. And I was supposed to be the one to do the final checks. But I missed something, and that disqualified the document from getting recognized. The ride home from that first day was excruciating. In the silence, my brain conjured up irrational fears and thoughts that made me spiral out of control. I said to myself, what a downgrade. I thought I was doing so well. I thought I was giving it my all, but clearly I've missed something. And it spiraled into more and more. And it's my fault that this document didn't get passed. I let everyone down, and I will never live this mistake down. And it's a horrible thing to think about. But fortunately, I've had someone to pull me out of it, my family. My mom and my dad are very no-nonsense type of people. So when I came home looking like a mess, they asked me, what happened? So I explained it to them. And so they asked me, will this problem still be there tomorrow? I said, yeah, it will. They said, why not forget about it? Just sleep. Stop trying to fix a problem, especially when you're tired and when you're stressed. Just deal with it once in the morning when you're already rested. And you know what? They were right. I woke up the next day, not in a particularly chipper mood, but decided to give my all. So we came back to the competition, went through hours of rewriting, rescripting, arguing about what changes we should make to the second submission of the document. And finally, we submitted it. I have to be honest with you. You might be expecting it to finally get voted on to win. But truth is, we didn't. We did not win the submission of the document. But that's the point. It's to stop letting fear stop yourself from making mistakes, to stop allowing yourself to spiral in that dark, negative, downhill climb of negative self-talk. So at the end, me and my teammates have accepted that fact. We were okay with it, and we were glad that we gave it our best. Until the awarding ceremony came, and the judges once again said something that made my heart drop. In rare circumstances, we award a Best Delegate title to someone who has shown remarkable qualities of perseverance and grit throughout the conference. I didn't know what they were speaking about until my name followed. It was shocking, to say the least. It was surprising. And what led to my confusion around it, so why was I so afraid of failure? I gave it my best, and once you zoom out, you realize that it really isn't that bad. But once I was stuck in that downhill climb of negative self-talk, I realized that in most cases, it's not bullies who tear us down. It's we who do it. We become our own bullies. And I know that a lot of you can relate to it. So I want to talk about how you can break down these borders, how you can stop yourself from becoming your own bully, and more importantly, to find out what's on the other side of fear. The first step is understanding the effects of bullying. So you already know that bullying can lead to negative effects on mental health, such as anxiety and depression and low self-esteem. But the catch is, bullying yourself can also have the same effects. So we need to build awareness about that. Understand when your voice inside of your head is sounding like a friend or a bully. If you're one of the few people who have an inner voice that sounds like a friend, congratulations, you are in a very small percentage of people. But for most of us, the inner voice in our head sounds like a bully. And we need to understand that most of the time, the things this inner bully tells you isn't true. So what you need to do next is to challenge that inner bully. Ask yourself, is this voice telling me things that are true? And are they helpful? Most of the time, it's not. So you need to challenge it. Ask yourself, where is this coming from? And why am I telling myself this? Moving on, you need to be able to replace criticism with compassion. Imagine yourself talking to your best friend after they've made a mistake. Would you tell them they're a failure? Of course not. So why do we think it's okay to tell ourselves the same thing? We need to treat ourselves like someone we deeply respect and care about, because we deserve no less. And the final step of conquering your inner bully and to overcome fear is to take action. Building awareness, challenging your inner bully, and having compassion is easy. But putting yourself out there, taking action, taking risks, that's the real deal. Because every single step you take towards the unknown, against your inner fear, that's stepping closer to who you're meant to be. So things like fear of failure, fear of rejection, or fear of disappointment, these are borders that only hold you back if you let them. And if you choose to not let them, you'll find that the other side of fear is freedom. My name is Felicia Natalie. Thank you so much.